Do you like fantasy romance? Do you like Omegaverses? Have you ever read a fantasy romance set in an Omegaverse? If not, or if even that sounds good to you, you should check out this Duet. Book 1 is Baked Goods and Dark Magic, and Book 2 is Desserts and Dark Tidings by A.R. Lyons. So overall, I gave this Duet 4 stars and 4 on the spice meter. Some of the things you can come to expect in this Duet is mate bonds, why choose Omegaverse setting, and magic. Fantasy creatures, fast burn romance, and very descriptive spice, which is what you would expect in an Omegaverse romance. So these are my favorite Omegaverse books that I have ever read. And I know it's because of the fantasy that's all tied up and mixed up into it, because that is not usually how Omegaverses are set up. And I thought that was just so cool. I also feel like because of the fantasy aspect, it did give a chance for the story to have a more complex storyline. And I'm totally here for that. Also, you know, I really love the fantasy romance. We know I am a fantasy romance junkie. And we also know that I also like Omegaverses. They're super spicy. And the combination of the two was just perfection to me. The romance in this book does move very fast, as I said before. And because of that, the whole book moves really fast. There really isn't any dull moments. And with going and talking about the romance, I did say that the book is very spicy. I actually debated giving this book 5-star in spice, but ultimately I did stay with 4 stars. The male main characters in this book are intense, possessive, and protective. And the female main character is cute. And like I said before, it did give the story a chance to have a more complex storyline. And that means it does get kind of intense at points, but that does not mean that the story has really darkness. It does overall remain a very light feeling book. This one is more of a fantasy romance, and I'm going to go ahead and give you an overview so that you can decide whether you want to read this one or not. As I said before, book 1 is Baked Goods and Black Magic. Luella is a bakery owner who just wants to sell some of her goods on market day. That is until some delicious smelling strangers come along and change everything, along with turning her world upside down. She is exposed to some dangerous magic that could put all of their lives at risk. Book 2 is Desserts and Dark Tidings, and this one does pick up where book 1 left off, and it is the conclusion to Luella and her mate's adventures. This book does have magic, action, and definitely some unexpected events. Like I said before, these are my favorite Omegaverse books ever. I know that I didn't give a whole lot away on the books, but you know I am very big on spoiler-free reviews, and I was afraid if I gave too much away that I would give away like the plot of the book and a whole lot, and I do not want to give stuff away. But I do want to say that there is so much action, and there's magic, and there's spice, and a ton of romance, and there's just a lot going on, and there's definitely some suspense, and I'm just going to tell you, they're definitely a very good duets. And it definitely, I'm going to say this, I think there is going to definitely be more books after these two, because like I did say, it is going to be the conclusion of Luella's story. But at the end of that book, and I hope this isn't really considered a spoiler, it does set up for more to be continued in this universe, this Omegaverse. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to say more than that, but it does seem like there's going to be more possibilities inside this Omegaverse. So I'm excited for that, which makes me really happy because this is really good. Like I said, my favorite ever. So I am super excited if that is what's going to happen. I'm going to be keeping my eye out for that. And you know, for me to be keeping an eye out on books is a really big deal. So guys, I loved this duet, and I think you might too. So you should definitely check it out.